Some free beer this Christmas? Does Edson Alvarez love a booking? Does Michael Antonio love a podcast? The answer to all those questions is yes, of course. And it's Beer 52's award season where they celebrate the very best in independent craft breweries across the world with 8 new and exclusive beers you're not going to find anywhere else. All you need to do is go to beer52.com/West Ham and cover the postage of $5.95, and they'll send you out a free case of 8 exclusive beers straight away. I love Beer 52. I've been using them for a while. I love the fact that you get different beers every month, and this month is an absolute cracker as they celebrate the greatest talents in the craft global beer movement. For example, craft beer giants Omnipolo's Outer Galactic, cracking beer. It's really smooth, really drinkable pale ale, really hoppy, and really nicely rounded to ensure you're coming back for more and more. You can drink this one quite a lot. It's very nice indeed. But if you don't like dark beer, not a problem. Simply choose the light case, and don't forget you get a couple of tasty snacks too. You can also learn about all the fantastic breweries featured in your case with the award-winning Ferment magazine as well. So you find sort of the provenance and find out more about the story of the brewer that you're drinking. And even after all that, if you're still not satisfied, you can simply pause or cancel any time. So that's beer52.com/West Ham to claim your free case. That's beer52.com/West Ham. Yes, everybody watching the West Ham Network, hope you are all safe and well. Before you ask, no player ratings today. They don't deserve it. They do not deserve it. But what I wanted to do first was have a bit of a rant. Have a bit of a rant. Get it off my chest. And that's the idea today. Today's gonna be a cathartic process. Let's just all get it out. Let's get it out on the not literally get it out because we'll be demonetized. But I wanted to have a quick chat. And now, obviously, you guys, feel free to comment as we're going through. I'm going to go through your comments in a minute. But I wanted to talk about the West Ham fan base because I'm pretty sick of it, in all honesty. Now, that game yesterday in isolation, everyone gets a tonking. Everyone does. And every West Ham side gets a tonking once in a while. And in isolation, that side could have easily been a Redknapp side, a Bilic side, a Pardew side, a John Lars side. Everyone gets turned over. They do always get turned over for one reason or another. Now, Gia made a really good point in his video yesterday on Hammer's Chat, saying that usually games like that, the scoreline doesn't usually reflect the actual game, but that one totally did. I mean, I look back at Forest last year, it was 4-0 on it, and that was 0-0 after 70 minutes. That game was Fulham, fair play. They turned up, they bossed the whole game. I went back and watched it. Obviously, I was out. Myself and Mrs. Budden had our Christmas dinner. Just me and her. Hand of flowers at Marlow, Tom Kerridge's place. Very good, very good. And yeah, I watched it back this last night, and pretty much they controlled the whole game. Fair play to them. But what I don't agree with is the way us as fans behave with each other, and that's what really frustrates me. I mean, Newcastle yesterday, so obviously they got tonking by Spurs. Obviously, Spurs, haven't won in the last 5 games, and Kendall, a friend of the channel, Kendall, bless her, the Newcastle fan, got pelters because she criticised the side. They were saying, you just want Ashley back. Not at all. People have a right to be happy when we win and unhappy when we lose. That isn't because they're pro Moyes or anti Moyes. It's because they're a West Ham fan. And I still believe there's a massive spectrum in terms of that sort of whole debate. And there's several loud people on both sides of the fence shooting over the vast majority of people on here. Now, I'm totally happy, and we encourage and appreciate people with different opinions coming on here. We've got Irish Tommy on every week. Literally every week, Irish Tommy's on, who has, on some things, a very different opinion to us. And sometimes we agree on other things, but it's your prerogative to have an opinion. It's also your prerogative to change your opinion. People get called out yesterday because they flip-flopped. Oh, you were Moyes out, now you're Moyes. It doesn't matter. There's no rule. If you've got one opinion now, then you are not allowed to change it. Of course you're allowed to change it. You're a human being. Now, I think here on the West Ham Network community, we've got quite a diverse I don't know, community, fan base, whatever it is. We're very tolerant of other people's opinions, and we have different views. I mean, if we did a players rating, we get different numbers. If we all had the same opinion, we'd all have the same number, wouldn't we? Really, we don't just have one way or the highway. If you think this, you don't. You should fuck off. That's not a case here. We try and have a spectrum of people on here. We don't lambast you if you don't agree with what we say. And that's what I want us to keep, because I think that's healthy. It shouldn't be, if West Ham win, then the Moyes in brigade go for blood for the anti-Moisers. And similarly, if we lose, then the anti-Moisers shouldn't be lambasting the Moyes in brigade. They should be lambasting the manager and the team. And same with, we're a fan base, and we can have our opinion. We as a whole enjoyed the Spurs game on Thursday in terms of the victory. Not necessarily the first half, but the victory. Well done. We all loved that. And we all hated yesterday. We cannot control what goes on in the boardroom or the dugouts. But what's something we can control is ourselves and how we interact with one another, how we engage with one another. I'm all for healthy debate. Me, as you said, I went back this morning. I watched Nick, watched Anton on Claret Booth. So me, Nick, and Anton have a WhatsApp group, and it's hilarious. We literally we take the mickey out of each other. It's all banter. It's all very friendly, and we know we're not going to change each other's opinions, but we listen to them and go, "Yeah, I agree, but," and then I agree, but, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be nasty. You shouldn't be personal. Christ, some of the stuff I could show you that I get sent every day, but I don't, because what's the point? I just block people. Now, for me, we are West Ham, we are family, we are community, and we have a massive game on Thursday. A huge game on Thursday, which we need to get a result in. Now, to be honest, arguably, I think it would have been better if we had to go into the game knowing we have to win rather than just get a draw, because that would have put us on the front foot. But regardless of that, we need everyone together as a fan base. We do. We need to come together and not be, it's so fragmented. It seems in some places at the moment. It sounds cheesy, but Delia Smith, 12th man. Let's be having you. I don't want Moyes to come out on Friday, regardless of the result, and say the fans were. I want him to say whatever happened, win, lose, or draw, that the fans are brilliant tonight. And not just that, but on social media as well. Even if you're not at the stadium, showing support on social media, people pick up on that. I mean, look at and people go, "Oh, it's because there's nothing on the pitch." To be honest, we lost fucking 5-0 yesterday, and the fans were phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? So they can be phenomenal, and we can do it regardless of what's on the pitch. Yes, there's people like acoustics and pockets of singing and stuff like that stadium, but that place can rock, and that place has rocked on several occasions, and we need it to happen on Thursday. There's only 3 results in a football match: win, lose, or draw, and we cannot control what result happens. But what we can control is our support, and give them as much as possible to the players. But yeah. Anyway, that's my rant over. I just thought, I just get on my chest. I watched Anton's the end, and he was pissed off, and he was all right to be pissed off because we lost. It doesn't mean we as a fan base should be pissed off we lost 5-0. Just because you're in support of the manager or you're not in support of the manager, that's regardless. It's like when people go, "I'd rather us lose than if it meant Moyes was out." No, because a true fan wants you to win it, wants to win every game, regardless. Anyway, let's see what we got. Let's go to the comments. This ranks the worst game of history in my history of watching West Ham. This could have been. This could not be bothered and subs. That's a great point, Michael. You're right. I think for the first time for a long time, the players, the only one who came out of that any credit was Jarrod Bowen, in my opinion. The players did not seem to be with it, to be on it, to want it. And that's the thing that hurt the most. I don't think it's the worst game. I think even last year, I think Newcastle was absolutely appalling at home. The Brighton game was a bit different because I thought we just got played off the park by the better side. That Newcastle game, we were appalling. I remember in the Redknapp era, we lost a couple of 5-6-0s. I think it's one of the worst games I've seen us play. I don't think it's the worst in my history. And yes, there was an illness. But I'm not being funny. We spent 2 years fucking COVID. So a virus, that we should be able to handle that type of stuff. And if Moyes had the virus, don't turn up then. You know what I mean? It's like you had COVID and didn't turn up one game, and Alan Irvine played, and I completely realised because they both had grey hair. But it falls on him. It falls on him in terms of the team selection, but it does fall on the players as well. It's a collective. Yes, the players. Not being funny. Someone like people say people calling out Fornals. Fornals apparently had the worst illness virus of it. If it is, why are you playing? Why are you playing? Don't play. Give it someone else, surely. Hi guys, have the afternoon off. Yeah, we will. I can't score anyone. Oh, yeah, we're not doing that. Why did Emerson not start? Yeah, he was ill. He had flu with the virus, same as everyone else. Can't give player rates. Also, don't forget West Ham, the advent calendar thing, because we love to give. We love to give. So Matty Holmes, go back and check it and put a little thing on it. Afternoon all. Players right at zeros. Go. We are old and slow. That's how I feel sometimes. I support the manager to think of him. Fair play, Gordon. That's what I mean. Fair play, and that's your prerogative. And you should be lambasted. I don't know where this word lambasted had come, but I'm using it a lot. You should be lambasted because you have an opinion. That's what winds me up. Hope we don't have a repeat on Thursday. Let's hope not. Freiburg are in good form. Well, they're okay form. Basically, Freiburg, if you are in pretty much exactly the same slot as we are in the Premier League, in terms of number of games played, lost, draws, that type of thing. But they won the weekend where we lost 5-0. I thought they were, but fantastic. Wasn't surprised as we lost as predicted 3-1. They're scoring goals for fun, and we didn't smash and grab wins at was well overdue. Yeah, probably was. It probably was, Pete. But we always get one, don't we? Every day, every season, we get one. So in isolation, I can take it, but not with the collective. In terms of, and that's the issue with the way Moyes plays. If we play well, or if we win, then we win with low possession. But when we don't win, there's nothing really to talk about. And that's the trouble. Great shout. Yes, Ludders. That was an awful game. That result has been going for weeks. Performances are later been masked by the lucky results. I don't think I think the lack of, and I totally understand that in terms of a narrative, in terms of, we have been poor, but we do enough to get to win it. And I think again, Gio made a good point. Even bad, a good sign of a good side is, when you win when you don't play well. And there is a doggedness in the side. There is. The fact is, we've scored like 3 or 4 last minute winners in the last half dozen games or so. That's once, twice, 3 times. That's not coincidence, But yesterday was just totally different. No motivation. Yeah, I think so. With a little rotation. Now I'm interested. Now I'm going to do a bigger piece about this, Trini, because this is something. Someone talked to me about rotation. Last night. I just looked quickly. Aston Villa from game week 11 to 12, or game week 12 to 13, whatever it was, they only changed one player. That was through injury. Bournemouth, one player through in one player. We changed one player from the Sunday to the Wednesday to the Thursday, and that was obviously Zuma coming back in the side. I do understand it, but someone like Pablo Fornals has played 15 games this season. Now I know he was ill yesterday, so I'll give him a little bit of a, but he shouldn't be put in that position. Connor Coventry could have been put. We could put Tilo Kira in. There were other options. But I think the rotation, we do have rotation because we have rotation from the Europa League and the cup competitions into the Premier League, but not within the Premier League. I think that's the issue. Everyone is entitled to an opinion as long as it doesn't get exactly. I'm always out. I've been since last season. I'm always happy when we win and annoyed when we lose. Support team. There's no excuses. Totally agree. Cyril, agreed. Has an excellent track record. He did, and we do have a very good record against Fulham. But he seems blinking to his team selections. I question the Fornals. I just think yesterday he got it totally wrong, and sometimes everyone gets it wrong. And it just seems yesterday he got it totally wrong. The squad selection, the substitutions. And I mean, people were calling for Ollie Scarles to play. Not being funny, Ollie played 120 minutes on Friday, plus about another 15 in terms of the. There was no way he was literally dead on his feet. I was at the under 18 game on Friday, and he was dead on his feet. So there's no way he could have played. No way he could have played. And if he did, it'd have been probably the same as it does his fitness level, same as bloody Emerson, who's got the flu. Next 3 games will tell us where we stand for the season. I totally agree. Us at West Ham, not individuals. If Moyes goes, then so be it. If he stays, so be it. Michael, that is exactly my perspective. Exactly. That's my view. Never saw that coming. I don't think after Thursday. I don't think we did. I think that might be why it was such a shock. I think if he'd won one, if we'd lost 1 or 2-0 or 2-1 and there was something in it, but you think, motivation, and people talk about, changing and players and fitness. Look back at the 85-86 season. These guys literally were playing every other day and towards the end, and we're still picking out wins. It's about motivation. It's about, I just don't think they fancied it. I just genuinely don't think they fancied it. And that's on the manager, but also it's on the players as well. These guys are professional players, Aaron Cresswell's played over 300 games for us. Again, these guys are been playing for many, many years. There is a thing called professional integrity, and I think a number of the players should look at themselves in the mirror yesterday and say, "Do you know what? I didn't do it. Didn't leave on the pitch." And that's all we ask as West Ham fans. People say we want to play exciting type of football and we want. For me, I want to see effort. I want the players to come off the pitch. I think back at someone like Scott Parker. Scott Parker, great player, not the most exceptionally gifted footballer in the world, but you would see him. I'd see him in the car park sometimes, like crawling, literally almost crawling at the game. He'd put so much into that game, and that's what I want as a West Ham fan. I want to see. It's not my fault if he picked that side yesterday, and Fornals was ill and what if he wasn't on it and he was misplaying passes, but he was still trying. He was still having a go. That to me is what we need. That to me is what about being the West Ham way. It's having a go. It's not about playing beautiful football. Fuck, you go back and it's like, 15-16 last decent season. We probably played decent football. Before then, maybe 10 years before that with Alan Pardew. Maybe another 15 years before then with Redknapp. We don't play beautiful football all the time. But what we do is have a go. We have a go regardless. And yesterday we didn't. A loss is always unwelcome. The game had no desire. I totally agree. Yep, you're right. Anton was brave going on. Oh, he's all right. Pete, us and the Claret and Blue boys, we are really good friends. We have different opinions. And that's all right. That's not a problem. You can still have different opinions and still be mates. And if anything, that gives you a bit more banter because you've got to play one off each other. Play that Thursday and Sunday. Yeah, agree. Are banging form. They're not totally banging form, Pete, but they won. They drew the previous week and they won yesterday as well. Rumor has it Moyes had the bug. Yes, yeah, apparently did. By all accounts, was summed up perfectly through down and brought. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I can't you can't justify that. It was very, very poor. Very poor decision making. Very poor game management. And a lack of effort on the pitch as well. Fulham also had one more game. I don't think it really matters, Matt, to be honest. I think, we've played a lot more games than Fulham, but then but if you look at it, look at someone like, Fornals has played 15 games this season. Zuma's played, how many games has Zuma played this season? 13. So these guys can't be tired. It's like, maybe at Gerd, maybe he's probably played more games than most, I reckon, because he's played quite a few. How much has a Gerd played? Let's have a look. Again. Naif. 18 games, so maybe 3 or 4 games more than anyone else. But I thought I was seeing adaptability, but he has reverted to type. But then again, it's like, I think, to me, nothing's changed in terms of that, and that's the issue. Nothing has changed. It's still quite formulaic and stuff like that, and there's no curveballs. Sometimes we need a curveball. You need a little bit different, something just to throw in, something a bit different. Anyway, Kent, worse since 2007. Reading any positive as fans back in team for 90 minutes. Moyes out, but I won't fall out of anyone who's Moyes in. Exactly, Ken, and that's the way it should be. But unfortunately, it's not the way. That's the way it should be for people. It should be, you have a different opinion, and there's nothing wrong with being like friendly banter. Christ, you should listen to me and Nick and Anton's WhatsApp group, but it's friendly. Nick sometimes gets a little bit angrier because it's almost like me and Anton versus him, but still, it's very, very, we're West Ham fans by the nature are a cheery bunch. I mean, we haven't, this is the first thing. Last year was the first thing we won for 40 odd years, but we still think every year is our year. So for 40 years, it wasn't our year, and last year we did win something. So it is. Moyes, no tactical sense. I just think you got it wrong, totally wrong yesterday. Wonder what odds have got Fulham can score in 10 and concede. No, yeah, indeed. 3 Town brings on 2 mil and let in 2 more goals. Totally right. Tough loss, but there was some decent. I don't think they were, Scott. I really don't think they were. I think anything it was Bowen. Bowen's been regretting that new contract he was trying on the 85th, unlike the others. I think things change. Things change. I think we know that the narrative again. The narrative that's coming out of the club, and again, I say narrative because we, leaks. Things are only leaked that they want leaked. I mean, no one knew about Areola being injured for the Spurs game. No ITK said that, did they? So that didn't go out. That didn't come out. That information, and he was injured on the Wednesday. So but apparently, it is the narrative is that Moyes is pretty much staying here. He's got 2. We talk about Hammer's headlines. Apparently, he's got 2. The next 2 games are critical for him, but then he's only got 6 months of his contract, so we'll see. I went away to a game FA Cup we lost 6-0. No, I think the worst was bloody what's name Nottingham Forest. Do you remember when Sam put out all the kids? Jesus, well said, Russ, on the channel behavior. But I think we all fans agree as fans. We don't stand for not putting a shift in. Totally right. If Emerson was ill, he should be on the bench. Totally right. But again, it's like bloody what's his face? Fornals. If he came out of the game and say he put Ben Johnson on left back, then Aaron Cresswell, because or then we would go, okay. If the squad was ravaged by illness, and he had to bring in, trying to think who didn't play on Friday. If he brought in Kalen Casey, Marshall, Connor Coventry, then fair enough. But he didn't. That's the thing that worried me. Well said, Ken. I want the team to play better and do better. They need a new manager, but that might need a new manager. But we can rediscover our form. Unlikely, but not impossible. In it, we have no control. We have no control who's our manager. We have no control who owns our club. So it's like there's certain things. There is a promise that people say on the Gamblers Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, and it is something like, it's like basically concern yourself on things you can change and not the things you can't change. And that is it in a nutshell. Last year away 1-0. Oh, you went, didn't you? I forgot that. I am very worried about Thursday after watching. I'm worried about Thursday because a loss means we're going to be playing in the playoffs, and it's 2 extra games. If that's if we win those 2 games, but still. Maltese, hope you're well. How shocking are we without Alvarez holding midfield together? Very true. I've said, I think in January we do need to get another CDM, and the CDM we do have, he's playing all right at Southampton at the moment, and another good midfielder. He's doing very well at Wickham at the moment. So it's just frustrating. Right, if there was a virus to the squad, why would Moyes not change? What? Totally agree. Don't forget Fulham. They certainly have. Yeah, I mean, actually, fair play to Fulham. Corner should have played. Hi, I'm not happy. What movie set? What movie? I don't know what you mean. Points wise, this is one of our best seasons. One of our best seasons. Yeah, it's true. And you could say, right, and the narrative would be, oh, and it's just one game, but there is a number of people who are unhappy with the way we were playing and the style, and it adds fuel to that fire. In the same way that you could say, in terms of extinguishing the fire, saying, oh, but we're in the quarterfinals, and we are, but we'll see what happens. Corney won't play again. Yeah, I think it must be something strange with him. Moyes said the players were tired, so why not use youngsters? I think you're right. I think there's certain youngsters he couldn't use because obviously they played on Friday. And they played. I mean, literally, the Friday game was hilarious. I think everyone had cramp by the end. Honestly, I felt so sorry for the kids. And to be honest, Southampton were the better side. Southampton should have won. They should have won. But West Ham showed they weren't pretty. It wasn't a pretty game, but they showed grit, and they scored a good goal, good equaliser, and they kept on pushing through. That was that, and then that to me is the West Ham way. You know, they're playing. I think Southampton were a superior side on paper, but West Ham grinded that one out, and it's fucking freezing. On paper, season's going amazing on the pitch, but he's surreal. You're totally right. They certainly do. If there was much the kids, it would be a no hit with the players. You can't win. Do you know? I can't. Yeah, I think you're right, man. Would you swap Emery for Moyes if it was possible? Would it? Which it wouldn't be right now. I think Johnny's whoever comes in. So say today. You know, he did come in. There would be adjustment. Look at Ange. Look at Ange Postecoglou. Would West Ham fans accept a four games in a row where we would concede and not we'd score first and not win the game and lose to Tottenham? Would we be happy with that? I don't know. There will need to be a transitional time. Look at Poch at Chelsea. You know, he was the Messiah and it hasn't worked, you know, and look at Bournemouth, look at Areola. He, you know, first few games, very, very poor. One of the favourites to be sacked. He's turned it round. So it does take time. And I don't think you'll get an instant impact with anyone that comes in at West Ham. It's not just 2 games, but ever since it's been here, he flogs certain players. Yeah, he does. Yeah, always has. Rotation can also include using the subs bench. Very true. Can accept defeats as long as the players are given the. I totally agree, Pete. Me too. Yep, he was good fun. I listened to it. Nick's new cat phrase on call. Yeah, but Anton, but. Nick likes big butts and he cannot lie. This drubbing was on the cards for a while. I think a drubbing is always on the cards, but it has been, yeah. I agree. We've been playing very poorly, and we have been lucky, but unfortunately, sometimes you do need luck to win games, and unless you're, and I think there's, I think. I think, yeah. To me, I was going to say a draw. And actually, if you look back at it, the 3 games, the Palace, the Spurs, and the Fulham game. If you said, right, we're going to get 5 points out of those 3 games, I think most people would have said, right, we'll probably beat Palace, probably draw at Spurs, and draw at Fulham, or maybe 4 points, lose at Spurs, and draw. So you know, as a 3-match run, I think most people would have probably realistically, the way we were playing, would have said maybe 4 points, 5 points. In terms of the way the other sides were playing. But yeah, it's the manner. Cresswell should be sold. Who's going to buy him? We don't have enough bench options that Moyes will play. I hear the board concerned. Well, I did say, Clarence Hugh have said that. We go over that in Hammers headlines today. Felt sorry for Bowen, trying his hardest to get that goal, but the record's going. He did indeed. Looks like only kept for homegrown, not for his footballing ability. Quite possibly, Peter. If you're saying the players delivery did not try, I didn't say delivery not try at all. They just didn't seem up for it, did they? Look, I don't care who can replace as long as. Yeah, I totally agree, and I don't think we just didn't have that effort level. And that squad is the squad. He's not going to put the kids on the bench. I think win Thursday and smash on weekends. And then, like it said yesterday, is isolated. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, I think he's all about his next 2 games. Because then we go into the Liverpool game, which is to me, that's a free hit. That Liverpool game's a free hit. Liverpool are huge favourites to win that game. It's at Anfield. They're playing really well. We're not playing very well. I think it's a free hit. And then we've got Man United away at home. And again, that's going to be a really good game because Ten Hag, you know what Man United's going to turn up. In fairness, the game's changed a lot. Yeah, you're totally right. It has. We've gone through, yeah, not just that, but also in terms of academy players coming through. I did a whole thing about it. And you're probably right. You're totally right. But I think but the modern day setup needs to take into account those things. So, as I said, I don't think it's wise we haven't got a recognised backup CDM. That to me seems obvious. Any CDM is going to get bookings. Any CDM is going to pick up an injury because they're literally in the mix of everything. And that's what we need, definitely. Worst scenario is we could be at the cup of mid-table and playing a dropout. Indeed. But you still look at that. It's like, well, you know what I mean? It's like still playing. We're still in the Europa League. It's bizarre, isn't it? Good for the first 10 minutes. You were indeed not having a proper striker. Is killing us. Ladders has always been the way, though. We've never had a striker for since well the right striker for years. Success teams have will play more than the Spurs. Yet totally will. That's the thing. We're in Europe, and that's the consequence. Remember the first year was in Europe, and the players were literally towards the end like on fumes. And then last year we sort of learned that a little bit. We had the two squads, very much two squads. This year it's sort of been a mix. We don't follow West Ham for glory. Totally right. Anton made fun to watch. Both stubborn as each other. I love it. Yeah. But that's it, isn't it? You've got you got to have light with shade. I think if it's all one way, it's one way street. If you have something coming the other way, it's a bit more exciting. It's ironic. It seems the worst thing that could have happened to our fan base was the team being. Trini, do you know what? You're totally right. But I think also the trouble is I'd love to, if things like Twitter and stuff were still around or were around properly, we're under someone like Sam Allardyce, because they were around, but not like as much as they are now. Like this is 10 years on, 12 years on. I think it would have been fascinating to see that. I think the trouble is social media has exacerbated the discussion because it's put it on several different platforms rather than you sitting at the pub talking to your mate at the game or on the phone or on text. It's now everyone's opinions out there on the internet, and I think that's the trouble. Hope the players have aired their opinions. Yeah, hopefully. Latest leak, they will take 100 million. But I think anyone would. I think we'd all take 100 million for Bowen, isn't it? And again, that's a leak. That's a leak. It's like, well, it's not a leak. It's just this is how much he's worth if he wants to come. Worries me about lack of speed. Yep, totally agree, Kim. Trini says Bowen signed new contract knowing Moyes won't be here next season. Well, you think someone that signs a 7-year deal, he would have had to ask for the project. That's a long time to sign a new deal for. So I'm sure there will be some sort of thought process that he's asked for. Nobody should fall out over a different opinion. We can't change anything. It's so pointless in there. Shaky, you're totally fucking right, mate. It comes down to bad team rotation. We have players out on their feet and Cornet not playing. Cornet one despite I don't get that. I think yesterday would have been a good game for him. But the thing is, again, it's like midfield. You know, midfield Plinio is like a beast, and we didn't have a beast. I think it wouldn't have been so bad. I think the game yesterday if Alvarez was in the squad, but unfortunately he was ill. But there's no backup. It's his way. You know, it's Alvarez or no one. And the last few times we've had Alvarez not in the side for injury, suspension, or sort of illness suspension, we look a shadow of ourselves for the midfield. Literally, the other sides are walking through our midfield. And the reason why is because you haven't got that Alvarez there. So we desperately need a CDM. Desperately another one. Everyone switched to each other. The under 21s, they didn't. A number of them featured for the 18s yesterday. They were all at Rush Green on Friday. They were all there cheering them on. That's what I mean. You know, I'll talk about it a bit more in Hammer's headlines. Talk about the academy and stuff like that. But yeah, from business perspective, spending to salvage the season and try to finish high as possible. Talents we have here is being wasted. Yeah. What managers says we can't make the top 6, can't motivate. Some of the most of the Moyes is fueled by trolls on Twitter. It is, and it is like a dial, depending on. So, say we win on Thursday. You know what we're doing. He knows what we're doing. So we lose on Sunday, goes the other way. Always does. He said it himself in an edit. He credits Moyes for signing him. Moyes be damned if he brings on the kids. Just mentioned Sam and the kids. Let's be honest, we're not winning the Europa League. There were too many good teams, especially after. But Trinity, we weren't going to win it. We almost won it 2 years ago. Didn't we really? It wasn't for Aaron Cresswell slipping up and getting sent off. We could have got into the final. Would have played Rangers. It is a funny old game. You never know. Question only much Question only: how much of that performance is down to Moyes' manager and perhaps uncertainty on future and players not performing? Would it happen if no nonsense manager was in charge? Don't know. I genuinely don't know. The performance was bad, and as I said, the players have professional integrity as well. So yeah, the setup was wrong. If they, apparently, the Spurs game, they took it to themselves to change the ways. Why have they fucking done it for every other game then? Why is it just Spurs? You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't agree with that narrative as well. I think a lot of it rests on Moyes' head. It does. Poor game on Wednesday. It was a poor game yesterday, but it does rest on the players. He does rest on the players. I just think for me, I just don't think we got any. And people say, "Oh, you haven't got leaders." I don't think we have any leaders. Yes, we've got a lot of players who were captains. Anyone can put an armband on, but it takes that was one thing about Declan Rice. He doesn't matter, maybe behind the scenes that players, and since he's left, they seem a lot happier. But on the pitch, we felt that we had a leader on the pitch. When Mark Noble was playing, felt like we had a leader on the pitch. In fact, Mark's still there. I was sitting next to him all day on Friday, all evening on Friday, and brilliant. Loved it. With Kenny Brown and with Mark Robertson all there. It was great, really nice vibe. I can't see that on the pitch. I can't see Kurt Zuma just like, I want someone. I want someone like Craig Dawson there. Just shout, come on. We don't get that, and that's the frustrating thing. I think if you had someone like that, it would cheer the players up and just get. And it's like, don't know. It was just so annoying. Russ, are you confident of beating Liverpool? Not particularly. Based on performance alone in last month, not results. Can anyone be surprised about what happened? No. We'd probably lose, but yeah. Southampton deserved to win. They did. They certainly did. If we play better football, yep. If play good football, great chances, show passion, still accept that. Would you accept if you? I think we do. In theory, Matt. In theory, I think when push came to shove, I think if we'd lost 4 or 5 on the spin, I think people would be like, "Well, what the fuck are Moyes doing?" Because even with Ange bought like 3 or 4, like that 4th game. I said we had Flav on. He was like, "I love him, but football's is a results-based business, regardless of it, regardless of the last name, regardless of the performances. It is a results-based business. You get paid on how well you perform that season. You do not get paid on how well you play. You get paid by how well you, how many high up in the league, how many wins you get. And obviously, that if you go to score more goals, you've probably got more chance of scoring. So you've got maybe more chance of winning. Also, you've got more chance of conceding as well. So it's we're in no danger of getting relegated. Use second half as extended pre-season would be lovely. Maybe a point tense will get us a GS up like Everton. Great shout. Flog a dead horse. To my boys, not as a team, not a squad he uses. Was a Friday game at the old in Wood Lane. Yeah, it was at Rush Green. So the FA Youth Cup, and there we talk about Hammers headlines, but next round is against Watford or Man City, and that'll be at Rush Green. It's at home, but the other 21s play there as well. So we're doing that. The defence at halftime was damage limitation. Didn't work. That's the only reason. I just don't know. Claret and Booze reckon players refused to play Moyes for second half, hence the high press and urgency. As I said, Nick will get they get their information. We get information as well. I think they would have gone through several names, several points. It's not going to go directly from one to it's Chinese whispers. I just don't understand why that wouldn't have happened for every other game we've come in and or it takes them. I just don't. That's the thing that I just don't understand personally. And unfortunately, we take it as Bible. It's been said. People go, "Oh, it's got to happen." It's like the rumours. We had 160 odd players we were linked to in the summer. We didn't sign 160 players. That's what we were linked with. So we think, "Oh, we did. Oh, I can't believe we didn't sign Bob from over there. We probably never were linked with him, but it's what the rumor was said. I mean, the two times we've come out with rumours, it's actual. Anton spoke to Tim Steiner, and Tim Steiner, we're getting players in the weekend. We got players at the weekend. I met Will Still, and I said, and I was talking to Will Still about West Ham. So that's the only stuff that I can say 100%. This is what they've said. Even like Clarence Hughes saying that there's 2 games. He's got 2 games to save his job at West Ham. Has he really? Because we've had his situation before. Why the last 2 games? Why not give him? Why not? If he loses Thursday, he's out for Sunday. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And you get your manager just before Wednesday. I can't see it happening. Can't see, unless they've got the guy. As I said, unless they have someone lined up. The trouble is, what will happen is we'll end up falling into a trap where we'll get someone on a short-term deal rather, and they'll be really good, and they'll probably offer them a full deal because actually they're probably the one. Yeah, we go. Do you know what I mean? I just can't. I don't get it. And also, no disrespect to Nick and that lot, but if they wanted that message out there, why are they going to a YouTube channel? Why aren't they going to the Sky Sports, or why aren't they going to, big newspaper with that information? That's really that's a big story, but they don't. That's what I don't get. We could have a chance against Nana, indeed. Dean Ashman's last chat that we had. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Household churches live in Elmhurst. I live in Osborne Road, mate. It's very well, thank you. Pointless getting strikers in January. Best fish and chips. They're over the pub over the bridge, and the pub over the bridge. Best fish and not best fish and chips, best kebab. Oh my god! It's like we got cursed when Ashton got injured until he sold my house to Frank McAvenny. When he lived down there, good times. Alves is good, but we would have still lost. I don't think it would have been so bad. We've got another CDM, but he's still out on loan. Let's face it, Russ. Oh, I love it. Great start. Let's face it, Russ. Major overhaul needed. Mate, it is. It is. Major. But I think mainly that's a squad thing, because you said the likes of Fabianski, Bono, Cresswell, they're squad players, aren't they? Really, and I think there is a point where you go, actually, Cresswell, he's not going to get. He's a squad player. He's not good enough to take over from Emerson. There was some having digs at each other on Friday night stream madness. Oh well, it always is. Do you think Moyes has lost the dressing room? Don't know. Loads of people say to me, who will get replaced to counter my Moyes out? It's not down to me, it's down to Tim. But it's true, though, Kent. It is true, though. It's like people go, anyone but Moyes. Okay, well, Big Fat Sam comes in tomorrow. No, I don't want him. Well, therefore, that he's not who. It's like, who would you want? And I think that is a valid point. I want him gone. Okay, well, you want him gone, but who's going to come in? I don't know. Well, that to me that should be, in the same way that, I said, I think Moyes is here until the summer. Who's going to come in summer? I mean, I've said Ruben Amorim. He's not going to, probably won't be, but that's someone I could see fit in the situation. There's the guy from Union St. Galice. There is, there's Will Still. There's loads of people who could be in it. I don't know. I add to the list of things that's lost. We've been here before. Highs and lows. It's going to last till the end of the season. And I'll tell you, it ain't going to change. It ain't going to change next year. We'll still lose 4-5-0 one game. We'll still have a shit performance here and a shit performance there. It ain't going to change. Man City, until almost it was fucking Luton yesterday. They lost to Aston Villa on Wednesday. Every side has a dip, and I think people think we're going to turn up and it's going to be like, we've waved a magic wand and it's going to be better. It ain't. It's going to be probably more enjoyable. You probably have more wins and losses, but we're still going to have a shit game. We're not going to win the league. We might never get top 4. As soon as Fulham scored the first goal, we fell apart. I totally agree. Right, let's go down. We lack English 100% on the pitch. That will kick up the arse. Now, there's. I don't. It doesn't have to be English, but I think you lack that sort of. But then some sides just haven't got it. I mean, I'm looking at some of the sides from like Villa. You probably got John McGill. You know, City, maybe something Rodri. You know, he'll put a boot in. Obviously, Arsenal got decked now, and so yeah. Okay, we lost. Next game, please. We ain't getting relegated over this one game. We're certainly not. With the points we have on the table, I doubt if Moyes' job is on the line. Relegation is always sorted this season. The gulf between the Premier and Champions is massive. Apparently, it was Noble on Thursday who gave totally going against Moyes. Again, I can't. He may well have done. He may well have, but again, we don't know. Things get exaggerated from that. I mean, I'm sure Mark's around the dressing room. I should have asked him on Friday, but you know, and then we'd have found out true or false. You know, but I think there's like it is like Chinese whispers, and unfortunately, he's probably always down there. We know he's down there quite a lot because when we won the European Cup and all that lot, Conference League, he was pitching the dressing room, and we know he does that. And in the kids' dressing, he's there, for the under 18s and stuff like that. So, and then they probably say, "Come on, we can get this going," yeah. But then it's got exaggerated from pillar to post, and then someone will say, "Was Mark Noble coming in the dressing room?" Yeah, he did. He probably is already in the dressing room. I don't know. Right, let's be careful. Let's get through here. I do think we have to be careful what we wish for. I totally agree. What are we expecting as knows West Ham? Huge ups, huge downs. We get it already. I've got friends in your road. There we go. Lovely. Joey and Lorraine. I don't know. It's a big road. This is 3 summers running with at least some. Yep, totally. And that shows poor planning pre Moyes, kind of, because they'd have all been 4 or 5 year deals. So it's how it's been sort of tallied up, really, isn't it? Really, Leon said to be after Benny again in Jan, and we're interested in a couple of Leon players. So bring back Pardew. No, we don't want to. Then you see players be upset. Benny will be at the AFCON. No point Leon signing them. Yeah, but they can only sign them in January, so that's the trouble. We should bring in Scarmacker's dad as CDM coverage. I think if we had 2 solid DMs he would constantly flog them, but they would never be dropped at the cost of attacking midfielder. Possibly, you're possibly right there. Taz 4 months. Well done. Ruben will be a shout, but patience would be needed. I'd like Frank, but because already working the same way as you would be with him. Totally agree. Yeah, that's what I mean, Ken. It's like when people say, "I don't know," so you answer me, Thomas Frank, and actually, that ain't a bad shout. I agree with what Anton was saying at the Claret Brews last night, where he was like, I wouldn't have Emery under the current way the club is run. The club is changing how it's run. It is changing. At the moment, it seems, and I've likened it, and I said it on last week, I likened it to, it seems that we've got like there's an escalator going up, and Moyes is standing on the left-hand side. So no one else can get past him. But he's standing on the left-hand side. And Tim Steinen and the whole setup, the scouting network, the academy, is all set up from the ground up. It's all behind him. But Moyes is like sitting there on one side, and he won't move to the right-hand side. Anyone not in the UK or in London, you won't get that reference, hopefully. But it's very frustrating when people stand on the left-hand side. And that's what it seems. So, I think, and that's why I agree when Anton said I wouldn't have Emery now under the way it's currently set up. If it's set up in more European style of setup, which it does seem it's going to be, then yes. So I totally get what he said. But the thing was, people like assumed, you don't want Emery. No, he said he didn't want Emery, but he said he didn't want Emery in the current setup, which I agree with. It'd be a waste. Moyes at the moment suits the way the club is set up. He does. And if he left, you'd have to get someone else in, and would someone else, someone like Potter or something like that, it would need to start again, and they haven't got time. So for me, the summer is the obvious choice. People said, "Oh, what about as you said, taking out that someone said pre-season." I think that's a dangerous game. Not in fear of relegation, but in fear of But we'll see where we are. We might be out of Europe, might be out of the cup soon. You never know. Chinese Whispers is a dangerous game. Russ, the pub on the corner when you come over Emerson Bridge from Slewins Lane. Sorry, it's been a while. When it was the Kings. Slewins Lane. The pub on the corner. I don't think it's there anymore now. Was that the Cricketers? It was the Cricketers. That was on the roundabout, wasn't it? And that's near the station. I don't think it's there. It's not there anymore, mate. It got knocked down ages ago. Can't they got the right side? Yeah, good point. I'm just, what I'm saying, pedantic. King's Head next to Sainsbury's. Love your chats, mate. Miss it living there. Next to Sainsbury's. That's not the King's Head. That's the Forest. Is that the Firkin now? I don't know. Who had heard of now they're starting to. I had because I follow La Liga. But he's a good manager. But again, it took him a while to get it going. And it said he was favourite to be sacked at one point. Did you enjoy Oh, good fun, wasn't it? We knew we were on these 2-3 season transitions inside, and I trust, especially after. Yeah, exactly. And to me, that's the important thing. It's about the project. So if they sacked Moyes today, realistically, the people they would bring in would either be a firefighter, be someone out of work, and if it's not the person they want, then that person's only going to come if they get a good contract. So they might give it to Johnny Heitinga and Kevin Nolan. They might do, and it could work. It might not work. Heitinga doesn't have any. He has obviously experience managing Ajax. No Premier League manager experience, which isn't a problem. But sometimes you want to. But he knows the Premier League. Obviously, his time at Everton and whatnot, and Fulham. And obviously, Kevin Nolan highly experienced in the Premier League in terms of as a player. No, that's the thing, and so if you think you got someone out of work, then there's certain players. Would they come in a 6-month deal? Possibly. You want I'd want someone who's going to be here for the long term. So I'd want the man they want, because as you said, there's discussions needed about contracts negotiations. There's discussions about who they're going to bring in January, in the summer, and those conversations are happening now. So, or they're happening for the summer now. So you don't want someone coming in who's not going to be here in the summer. You might have a really good 6 months, but then you start all over again. I don't know. And he won't be a manager, he'll be head coach as well. The next manager won't be from the Premier League. Big reason why he's brought in. I bet if Moyes had got Solanke, would have kept him on the bench. I don't think so. Time for a caretaker manager. But again, I hate caretaker manager just we're treading water again, Maltese, isn't it? And I don't want to tread it. I want to put our colours to the mast and say, right, this is our man. This is the guy who's going to take us, and then us as a fan base get behind him. If it works, great. If it don't work, then everyone's going Emery out. Whatever, you could get Potter in, and he would have the longest preseason if they want Potter. Yes, we could get Potter in if they want him, but he's been out of job since the summer, and none other club has put in for him yet, abroad or in Europe or in the UK. So that's one thing. If he was that desirable, then people you'd already snapped him up, and we would have got rid of him always ages ago because then Potter's available. So that's why I don't think it's Potter. Any truth? We're looking at Gary O'Neill, but then Gary O'Neill is basically the reason Bournemouth got rid of him, because he played a boring, pragmatic style of football. It's only because he's doing well at the moment that people go, Gary O'Neill will be good. If you listen to, like, we had the Bournemouth fan at the beginning of the season, he couldn't believe that the board got rid of him, but it's because the fan base and the board wanted a more progressive style of football, and they brought Irene in, and so that's why he left. And now he's doing all right at Wolves. People go, I quite fancy him. His style of football was very similar, very similar. I'm still effing speechless. We're shit housing wins all over. Had to happen. Caretaker for me on 2. Who's your caretaker though? Oh, someone at the club. Who? Kevin Keane won't take it. Kevin Keeney's sorted at the 18s. So it's Heitinga. Well, we Mark Noble. Kevin Nolan. Maybe. Anyway, if the first team is going to keep playing this, they may as well play under 21s instead. I don't think they are, Andrew. I think it was again bad day office, but yeah, I totally agree. It was if they need to bring some, we do need. To me, I sat next to all the under 21s on Friday. I don't think they're strong enough. I generally feel the Premier League is so physical now. I think looking at Caden, just a tall young lad, isn't he? He ain't got no muscle. He ain't got no bulk in him. Callum Marshall scoring for fun in the PL2 against his peers. Yeah, they're doing all right in the old game for the under 20 in the old Bristol Motors Street Trophy thing. But are they really playing against? They're playing against Division 2 and Division 2 and Division 1 sides. You know, for me, it's not Premier League. They need what we need to do is send out the likes of Callum on loan. We need to send out Patrick Kelly on loan. We need to send out Casey on loan. I mean, you've seen what's name? Freddie's having rave reviews at Wickham. You've got Heggy's having rave reviews at Stevenage. That's the way you need to do it. That's the way you need to do it. My mate's a firefighter, so I tend to get in the ball. I didn't understand lack of enthusiasm in buying a managerial contract or another club when West Ham spending was £500 million on players. I totally agree. David. It's a very valid point. I think if the time is right, then yes, you should buy. If Alonso wants to come, and we got 30 million quid to spend, do it. And then but I still think it's all lined up for the summer. I still think whoever we're getting in, it's lined in for the summer, and it's one in, one out. I'd give Nolan the role. Would you? Why? Man failed at Notts County. Didn't do very well at Orient. He's a good coach, but is he a manager? Don't know. Ten Hag will be sacked and Poch will be sacked. Yeah, I totally agree. What and where is Johnny Heitinga? Johnny Heitinga is the assistant manager now. Is that his title? This is Moyes. You don't think Wayne Rooney was ready? He was 16 and he became and he played him. It's the same David Moyes who missed out on Julian Alvarez as well. So yeah, it's true. Youngsters have to start somewhere. We can't wait for it to be ready without there are plenty of starters who have small frame with no muscle mass. So in the Premier League this week, we had, in terms of the starting 11s, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. Brighton had Lewis Dunk, who's over. I mean, I wouldn't include him an academy player now because he's 30 now, isn't it? They had Evan Ferguson, who's built like a brick shithouse. Man United had McTominay, who's physically very strong. Garnacho, he's got a bit about him. He's quite a big lad. Forest had Ryan Yates. These are academy players. Arsenal had Saka, who ain't no slouch. Chelsea had three. They had Reece James, Gallagher, and Brozier. Obviously, most of them came from the Lampard era, but I think Gallagher's a recognised midfielder net, and they're not like new people. Man City had Foden. The only one I'd say at that lot who's new, it would be Lewis Miley from Newcastle. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 12 players in 222. 220. So less than 5% are academy players. And that's from starting lineup. Massive test for the young lads at Wickham. Yeah, Wickham are a good side. And we talk about that because we talk about Freddie Potts as well. If a new manager is lined up for the summer, why not get an in-house caretaker now as Moyes is toxic? Maybe they don't. Mate, I don't know. Don't know, Maltese. It makes sense. It makes sense. It does make sense. It does make sense to bring in someone outside on a caretaker basis, in my opinion. If you're going to go caretaker, he's got to be an in-house appointment. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He was built like a 25-year-old. He is. He's massive. I mean, I said, looked at under 21 squad yesterday on Friday. The only one I thought, fucking hell, was Mbama. Gideon, maybe Kadua, maybe, um, maybe. But most of them were quite. Patrick Kelly, bless him, a strong wind will knock him over. But when in terms of, they need to go out on loan. They need to go out on loan. That's how they bulk up. Glad we didn't get Brogy. He hasn't been that impressive. I think just until the end of the season, players get immediate lift. Yeah, fair play. It's a win-win. Well, we know. I mean, it's not January onwards. We know January onwards. Tim is saying, right, that's it. You lot are going. It's all my way or the highway in terms of transfers. So yeah, in the past, West Ham have sacked managers. Then they got nothing in place and no plan. But in Tim, we trust and hope to do the right thing. That's what I think, David. I think I think what's going to happen is I think there is a plan in place, and there should be. And there's always a contingency plan and it will be probably Moyes off in the summer with the new manager already lined up. And yeah, you're probably right. If it all goes to shit, then yeah, it probably will be. Yeah, it probably will be, a in-house appointment because it'd have to be because no one else will turn up. No one else will say, "Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll turn up for it." Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Paul Allen wasn't exactly built like a Tarzan. He wasn't. But usual. I'm telling you, I've seen. I mean, I've seen. I saw Joe Cole. I saw these guys, and I've sat next to these guys on Friday. They're not big enough yet, and that's not a slight on them at all. But they need experience. They need first team football, regular first team football for their development. They need to go out on loan. They need to. And there's a reason why there's so few academy players in the Premier League. It's not just West Ham. So how many times was that? That was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 sides had an academy player in their side, and we had one until we sold him for 105 million quid. Scott Parker for Caretaker. No. Not an external one because he'll end up playing well. Because he'll end up. We need the right person for Tim Steindem. I'll take Brozier and loan options to buy, see how the knee holds up. If we lose on Thursday in Carabao, yeah, did okay at Ajax, and that's what was talking. Yeah, so I think it would be an internal. It wouldn't be a new person coming in, unless the new person coming in is the person that Tim wants to take it forward. So if it was, I don't know, Potter or whatever, then I don't think he is. But if it, West Ham is about as useful as a tin of spam. Nice. Artell, I need to screenshot that. Artell's agreed with me on something. Agree with us on the physicality. It's true. And that's a detriment to the Premier League too. They haven't, the old combination league, and I said this millions of times when I'm blue in the face, you get lots of players coming, drop down from the first team, come out from injury, all that type of stuff. I watched it yesterday on Friday. They're all the same height. You might get one or two slightly bigger, but it weren't like, I don't know, just it was an under 18 match. So they're playing against under 18s. When you play for the 21s, they're under 21, so you're only going to play people your age or younger. You might get one pro in there, but then they're not bothered, are they? Since we have more than half the points to be safe, not played half our fixtures, don't see Moyes going anywhere. I totally agree with Trini. Needs to be rocking. So it does. I'll be fine with Heiting goes. Is clearly quite overrated. Nolan has done nothing in management. I agree. If they leave Sourpuss in until the end of the season, where we continue to decline and better players will want to leave, get in-house caretakers and let players know they have a new. Well, Paul, I think that's what they're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a reason why Bowen has signed a 7-year deal. There's a reason for that. Bowen was that unhappy, he wouldn't have signed a 7-year deal. Or if Bowen didn't know what's going to happen, he wouldn't have signed a 7-year deal, in my opinion. I said start of West Ham 15th by Christmas if we lose 2 more. Oh, here we go. 15th. All right, 15th. I think Nick put something about his prediction, didn't he? So we'll see what happens. I agree about loans, Russ. Men's football suffer. Reserve team will be chopped to travesty because and that's it. That's literally what they got to do. Send them all out alone. But to be fair, Kent, they were all available in September, in August. They were all available apart from Obama on loan. Only Freddie Points and he went. So that's what I mean. So that's what that's what I don't understand. Why are they not? Why isn't Callum? Why isn't there? I don't get it. Russ, you're saying they should go and loan to welcome up. Then you're saying only beating. No, because what I'm saying, Trini, is people will go, oh, but they are ready to play because they beat Chesterfield. Yeah, but that was that one game. This is Premier League's different. They need to get reps in their feet. They need to get reps. They need to get first team reps in terms of proper league football. If they went out on loan, Freddie's at Wickham. If they, if Callum went to Huddersfield, if Patrick Kelly went to Peterborough and got good game time, that's what we need. That's what we need. Mason Greenwood doing a good job. If Divine signs, he should be out. I think that's the basic idea, which makes perfect sense because then by the time he's back, you'll have maybe new manager in place. You'll also have Danny Ings probably off, Antonio probably off, that type of thing. Oh, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Peter. You know what I mean. It's a shame, Russ. He's just hanging on, and we'll do it until the end of the season, just getting the result. When needed, we're going to waste the season on keeping him. We'll see. But Gary, what's a waste of the season? If we end up 8th, we're in Europe again next year, and that's good for the next manager. So actually, a results-based business, it is about getting results. And actually, if Moyes has a decent enough season, say we win a cup, fuck's sake, or we finish say 8th, that the new manager comes in, we're already in European football next year, but also finish the money for finishing 8th. So actually, him getting the results now will benefit us next season as well. Anyway, I'm going to go. I've got to do some work. Anyway, having headlines in a bit. We talk about the under 18, the under 21s. We talk about Moyes. We talk about can't remember what else. Anyway, keep it on the channel. We should have some lovely guests. Also, don't forget, go back and watch the Matty Holmes advent calendar. Put a little comment, and you can win something. You can win some stuff. Anyway, love you all as always. We ain't going to be 6th, Russ under Moyes. You know it. Well, you think we've finished 15th. So even if we finish 12th, we've got another 2.5 million more than you think we're going to get round. But anyway, we'll see what happens in it. I still think we'll be top 10, mate. I'm always out and have been for a while, but don't agree with the waste because a win against and a win, and we could be cooking. Totally right. I've got 14 more chances to lose. Indeed, Michael. Indeed. And comment loads of times. I don't know if my system does it. Try comment more. If you comment more than once, you might have more chances to more chances on the same video. Comment like separately. Try that. Anyway, much love. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.